What's up, guys? What is up? Welcome back to another episode of Deck Talk Podcast. And this episode, we've been trying to get the old traveling fisherman on the podcast. We had some issues on Pappy's and myself's last time we had him scheduled to where we had to actually go run an extra trip. So we had to cancel on him. And then Traveler decided that he was going to head back home to Florida. So we just now got everything going, and but let's get some business done real quick. You ready to hook into some serious bass? Grab Bruiser Baits, the tournament proven soft plastic and hard baits that put fish in the boat every time. Bruiser Baits, the fish the best. Get yours now at bruiserbaits.com. Make sure you use discount code DECKTALK10 and enjoy the little discount that you get on top of that as well. With that, we're going to talk a little bit about some Bruiser Baits today. But if you don't know, guys, I'm Colin Burnett.
I'm Pappy J, and let me kind of just go off of what Colin just said on Bruiser Baits. Hey, he don't only have good product, but he has excellent customer service. 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. I mean, you email him if you have a problem with anything, he will solve it. Great guy, great company. Them guys over at Bruiser Baits, they know how to get it done. With that being said, we're going to go straight into our salute to valor, and it's brought to you by none other than Waze Energy. Waze Energy is a huge supporter for our men and women in uniform. They got it right, and we love what they do, what they stand for, and all of them are veterans over there. Y'all go check them out, Luke and his staff, Justin Nunley and all them. They're huge. They got a great product. I can't say enough about it. Can't say enough about it. Great stuff. But today's our salute to valor is First Sergeant. This is our first ever First Sergeant Brian Spangler. He was in he spent 28 years in the United States Army. His MOS was 12 Zulu Combat Engineer. He was attached to the 88 44th Engineer Battalion. He done 5 deployments. Man, 5 deployments. That's crazy. Hey, thank you, First Sergeant Brian Spangler, and all the men and women out there in uniform. We cannot say enough for you guys, because
Yes.
without y'all, us three right now, and many others across from coast to coast, we could not do what we do. So deeply, we thank
Thank you.
y'all
Thank you.
Thank
very
you all.
much.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I believe, Pappy, that our special guest tonight really don't need
He's
much of
a
an
dude. He's a hammer, man. Hey, look.
he don't need much of an introduction, but
No, no,
uh,
no.
I'll just say this, guys: if you want to watch somebody that is very knowledgeable about where he's fishing, he's traveling
He's been
fisherman
coast to coast.
he's been his saying used to be coast to costa when he had some
Mhm.
Costa sunglasses and but
We got these are coasters here.
heck yeah.
Hey, so are
So
these right here.
but he's very knowledgeable about where he
He truly
goes and
is.
stuff like that. Here within the past year, he's gone from Alaska to Missouri down to
Mm.
Florida, and if I could say, that's a little bit wide span of different kinds of fishing that you're doing, and so
Mhm.
just the knowledge and I enjoy Traveler that the the excitement and seeing the stuff that you're being able to do. Your lives are phenomenal, and
Mhm.
so we want to say thanks for coming on and thanks for the content and stuff that you put out because it is
Absolutely.
phenomenal. So
Appreciate you,
Yeah,
coming on. Never
I
met him.
mean, for someone to go from Alaska to Missouri to Florida, yeah, you know, the diversity right there is and the knowledge of fishing is insane, right? I mean, you've got to have. I mean, your knowledge bank should be just like overloaded right now, if I may say. Um,
There's a few IOUs in there, but yeah. No.
but I will say though, one of my favorite things is whenever we had you on the episode and you was in Alaska and you had the background on side of the road. The you I mean, you cannot put the reality in reality for
Hmm.
that. And
Absolutely.
that is awesome. And that's what I love about your content. I mean, you're authentic, you're straightforward, you're always engaging with your people. You know, I mean, I've been on there several times and watched you fish. I mean, and you take what everybody suggest and whether it's good or bad,
Right.
you're constantly, hey, I've tried that, I've tried this, I'm doing that. So when you go to a piece of water, what is your breakdown of it?
It's that knowledge. It's I'm always doing my homework. I'm trying to watch videos or talk to people maybe in that state. Searching as much as I can about it, and it's and then getting there because once you could do all that research, and then once you get to it, especially being a bank angler, it's a little bit different. So you start taking the bits and pieces of what and you're playing the weather, the water clarity, you structure all that, and you just break it down. Some days are a lot better than others,
Mhm.
but we have a lot of knowledge, or access to knowledge, at our
yeah,
Right.
fingertips. So I try to take that, and then just like I said, just the years of just fishing and just trying to piece it all together.
Right. And that's one of the things about that I love about your content is, being a former soldier and just everyday life in general, just not just that, but practice makes perfect, right? So the more you do it, the more it becomes real life. So
Absolutely.
you every situation. Okay, I can throw over here next to this little piece of twig, or I can throw. I know there's something down there at the bottom of the pond or lake or wherever you may be fishing. You know, and you have a good chance because you've already lived that. So it's second nature to you, and
Yeah,
that's what I love about your stuff. I mean, I mean, you're completely awesome about that, and I really appreciate that.
I appreciate that, brother. Thank you.
so let's talk a little bit about Missouri and
Mhm.
because you were there just kind of a short. It seemed like by the time you got there and you turned around, you was heading down to Florida. But so where were you able to fish in Missouri?
It was tough. Bank fishing was tough. There was a few spots, within the area that we lived in, and just neighborhood ponds.
Yeah,
But it, I'll be like I said, that's probably the most difficult place I fished being a bank angler, as far as the water being dirty, and I mean dirty with like junk in the water. I was losing. I lost a ton of gear, and no matter what I threw other than top water, I found myself always losing stuff. But
right.
I approached it pretty much the same way as you would, everything else we're throwing, the spinner baits and jackhammers and all that stuff. What really got me was in a good way was when I was able to fish at Lake of the Ozarks on the boat. I got to go out with Jake from Jake's Lure
Yeah,
Joint,
Yeah.
and just wildly different.
yeah,
Wildly different than bank fishing. You have to rely on. We're pitching and flipping docks, and we're fishing some brush and structure, and different being in the back of the boat, not having the graphs and all that stuff, but still manage to catch fish and kind of obviously watching what those guys, because he's been fishing there for a long time, so you kind of try to mimic a little bit what they're doing,
right.
and then you just you open your box up and say, okay, these are the things I think it may be, we go a little bit deeper when we need to and just go by color and, by that, the conditions,
Right.
and I think I only fished it twice with him on the boat, and was successful every time out. And it wasn't. I don't base my success on the number of fish that we're catching. It's just enjoying it all. But everything with it, I was still able to catch fish.
Right.
Now
And
numbers. Let me ask you this real quick, and I know you keeping track. Numbers. Where are we at right now on how many you caught for the season?
It's low. It's low for now. For this year, I think we're just over 100.
Okay.
It's low, like
Yeah,
so.
I think the last one, your last live, I believe you was like at around 90, 80, 89, mid high 80s, low 90s, somewhere right along in there.
Because
So I'm
I
not.
think we ended the year with we were, I think, in the 900s last year.
Oh wow, yeah,
But
and that's all
you know,
over. That's Alaska and
yeah,
everywhere.
yeah. So, and what I really want to do now is, and I wish I'd been doing this for the 10 years of us being on the road, but kind of keeping a logbook of all the different species I'm catching versus numbers. Because
right.
I can't tell you the
Right.
amount of species that I've caught. Being on the road.
And I think
Now,
that's awesome. You keeping up with or you having a logbook of everything that you're catching,
yeah.
that truly is awesome. Now, do we see anywhere else besides Florida that we might be going to?
Like I said, it's up in the air because, like I said, we'll pick a couple different states, and it just, there's a lot that goes on behind it. It's, if she gets picked because it could be it's kind of like a lottery system. There could be five nurses wanting to go to this one area in California or Florida or Alaska, and it's just if you get picked, and then it's got to be a good hospital system. How's the housing? So
Right.
but there's a few places that we're hoping to get to. So but we always wait until like we're on the road going because there's been times where even this one we weren't supposed to be in Missouri. That wasn't our first pick, but
Mhm.
she got passed over, so that was kind of a backup.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we got Melanie AK is on Traveler, so she. So how are you doing, Melanie?
Welcome
Pappy,
in.
if you if
You got that
anytime that
question
you
for Steven?
yeah, I see it. If anytime that you're on Traveling's TikTok, you're gonna see Melanie on there. She's always dropping in for a minute. Um, Steven Sturgeon says, "Do you take into account the solar bite time?"
I mean, I'm not going to say that I do. I'm not going, and I mean, do I think about it at times? Maybe, you know what I mean. But I'm just fishing. If I can be outside, I'm fishing. I know
Right.
it's important, barometric pressure, all that all stuff. But no, I'm not going to say that I, it's 100% always there.
Right.
Well, I was
I,
going to say with what you do and how you do it, your kind of format, you can't. It's really hard to account for barometric pressure, solar, and and all the other things that kind of
And
weigh in.
yeah, we just do it.
So
I just do it.
yeah, yeah,
well,
yeah. You
but and also though, um, during the winter time, and for me, I don't pay as much attention to it in the winter time. Now, the heat of the summer, I'm definitely paying more attention to it, especially on the full moons. I
Sure.
will. I'm wanting to be able to one get out earlier
Yep.
and or fish into the evening a little
Oh, we'll
later.
fish. Yeah, we'll fish through the
Um,
night.
right, and
Oh
so
yeah, yeah.
and then in which and Pappy, he's big about the barometric pressure
Hmm.
and stuff like that. I I see the difference in I mean, if you really just pay attention to the fish, you can tell a couple days, 2 days in advance when a big storm is going to come in. You'll see that that bite go up but and then usually about a day after is when it'll start picking back up, right after or during and stuff like that.
And I tell you, traveler, the reason why hunting really opened my eyes a lot to fishing. So animals are animals. They're
Yeah.
God's creation, right? So all going to act the same in some sort of way.
Right.
So if there's a low pressure or a high pressure, they're either going to feed more or feed less,
Yeah.
one way or another. Whether they're a mammal or not, in the water, out of the water,
Right.
however you want to look at it. And and that's one thing I expose Colin to with on the hunting side of it, and he has seen more activity just going by down, just us going down the road. Um, how the weather really plays effect on which I mean he already knew that. I'm not gonna say he didn't know that, but it really plays effect on the animals, right?
Yeah.
So, anytime you have some type of low pressure, high pressure, new moon, full moon, whatever, it's going to have that effect on them. And that's I'm a big firm believer in all of that. The barometric pressure. Matter of fact, I used to whenever I done a lot of tournament fishing, I was banking on wind, s- any kind of weather related, because it
Yep.
seemed like I'd always done better when it come to wind or weather related or some type. However, the barometric, whether if the temperature was real hot or real cold or whatever, I would always game plan around all of that
Right.
Right.
to determine whether if I'm going to do any good or not. And same is to be true with any kind of hunting, fishing, or anything like that. And I mean, obviously, it's taken me almost 50 years to realize that. But hey, you know, knowledge is
Right.
power, right?
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
and,
Well,
and and go ahead, Colin.
when I was fishing 2 to 3 tournaments a week, I would uh, I'd have a spiral notebook that I'd have with me, and I would write
Mhm.
down not really the place that, like, I'd put the lake, and I would put, let's say, rock riprap 8 foot. That's what I'd put. I'd put the water temp, the temperature, water temp, and air temp, and if the wind was blowing, and being on the Tennessee River, if what kind of current I was having, and
Right.
which that helped out for me more so because I was able to go back to, all right, it's, what is it, July 10th or January 10th, and what was I doing last year or 2 years
Right.
down the road, or and and being able to, because then if I look back and say, all right, well, this I had similar to back 3 years ago, then I could go back, I can feed off of that, and then I have a better starting point to know, all right, let's try this first, to
Mhm.
where I can go. And then I'd also put like the size of the fish that I was catching, um, because I mean everybody knows that, I mean, you don't always go out there and catch them 7 8 pounders,
Right.
and so but it's also a good idea to be able to know, like, hey, this pattern at this time with this water clarity, the current and everything, I was catching 2 pounders doing this,
Right.
and so, but again, going back to what Steven was saying, for me, it's more or less during the summertime. The heat, I think it affects them more during the heat of the summer.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's why I transition. That's why I like to transition from like really in the summertime when it's at the peak of summer, it's real hot, and the
Hmm.
water temps are really high and the oxygen level for them is like really low.
Yeah.
That's why I like going transitioning over into night because then everything changes.
Right.
The oxygen level for them is a little better. The water temp has cooled off and they're more active.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you know, but that's just me though.
No, yeah.
I've caught a lot of good fish at nighttime. I love nighttime bass fishing. I mean, that's one of my favorite times, other than the pre-spawn and the
Right.
spawn.
Right.
But
Yeah,
it's almost like being in the spawn at nighttime for me.
Yeah.
I'm
Absolutely.
in the right spots.
Right.
now, do you do much night fishing, Traveler?
Not really. I mean, evening time, you know what I mean? But as far as night stuff, not really. Not a lot. I mean, I have, but just not a lot.
Yeah,
It's more of that's our schedule, the wife and I schedule what we're doing, or, trying to
yeah,
find somewhere, I'm not going to do a lot of nighttime bank fishing in Florida just because a lot of places that I do go are gators. So,
Yeah,
got to be, but I'll do it if I can, you know.
yeah, yeah. That's for sure. You don't need one of them lizards coming after you. So,
With
right
the I was going to
with
say with the pond fishing, summer fishing, real quick. Like I've been building boxes lately. Post spawn, pre spawn, dog days of summer, downsizing, different presentation. Because that's one thing for me that I've learned that's really helped me. Because what I take my one pond hopping box doesn't work all year long, depending on where I'm at. So I've been
yeah,
trying to do that a lot more lately.
right.
yeah, and I really like one thing that I really like that you've done is you have I forgot what you call it, a box that your your viewers can actually pick out the baits out of the box.
Yeah, the
And
virtual tackle box.
yeah, the virtual
Yeah,
tackle box.
yeah.
That is something that is very cool to me because I think that I mean because then you're pulling in your audience and stuff, to say
Hmm.
to where they're like, and then if you don't catch no fish, you can be like, hey, y'all suck at picking out baits.
It just gets
So
them. It gets them to come in a little bit, and kind of gets. I think part of it too was getting them a little more familiar with these lures. That
right,
they're intimidated by or might not understand. So we'll do the breakdown of them, and then
yeah,
just get them out there more.
What well, you're engaging your community, right?
yeah,
So and what's the perfect way to really break down a lake or a pond and what you're fishing with is to engage
Yeah,
and like I said, kind of retract back to earlier. That's what I love about your lives because a matter of fact, I had even suggested something. He was like, you know what, Pappy, that's what I done. And
yeah.
you did that because one of your viewers had already suggested that, and I'm like, hey, he's on to something. That's pretty good.
No, it's
So
good because we all learn. You know what I mean? Like I'm not an expert. I've learned there's a lot of people out there. I'm not a professional, but I share what I know, and I want to be a sponge to it all and learn it all. And
yeah.
if you're seeing something that I'm not, let me know, and I'll figure it out.
yeah, exactly.
Now, my dad has said, has Traveler been able to get on any peacocks yet?
Not this run, but yes, since we've been down here, yes, but not now. But we're there's a few spots in the area that are supposedly having a lot of, and that's the other thing that we can talk about. It's been getting harder and harder to fish these spots as I return because they're being taken over by third parties, or people are scooping up the properties and they're coming in, and you can't fish anymore. So it's been getting harder and harder to find them. I mean, I can go down south, southeast, like Homestead, Miami, Alligator Alley, and get on them, which we're going to. We're going to when we're down here, but we haven't yet.
Yeah. Now,
So speaking of that, you know, uh, I mean, I didn't want to go down that rabbit hole this early, but
Well, we
hey,
can wait. We can wait a little bit.
okay. I mean, whenever it don't matter to me because it's quite discerning. I mean, anyways, yeah, we'll travel that in a minute.
Well, I do. What are you? What is like your bait of choice right now with you being down in Florida? What is your bait of choice that you're using?
There's been a few, but it's I'm either throwing a jackhammer or I'm going to throw the mini max, a smaller one, or But even now, with the way that the weather's been, I've been really focusing on the ultralight side of things and just going with the Z-Man flashback. It's the smallest, like chatterbait jackhammer you can get, and I've been really focusing on that. And that's just because of how cold everything has been. It seems that it's kind of pushed that heavy bite, you know, but typically this time of year, it's either going to be that jackhammer or lipless. But like I said, I've been just
So,
really down.
so have you noticed more bottom bites or kind of suspended bites or top bites?
Um, Specifically here where I'm at, it's kind of been a mixture of both, depending on part of the day when I'm out there. There's been where I'm catching them out in the middle, kind of suspending, and then as the day's progressing, they're kind of more by the bank. They're hugging that the bricks, with that heat, that
Right.
structure,
Hmm.
they're kind of hanging out there. So it's really and a lot of the other things too is the wind. When it's real
Yeah.
windy, at least in this spot, they're kind of pushed up on that little shallow shelf, and they kind of get funneled into this little area, and they've been all kind of bunched up in there. So those are the kind of areas I'll focus on.
Okay. All right.
Now, I know for like here, they they're either they're either going to be suspended, which they're going to be harder to catch suspended, or I mean they are hunkered down on the bottom,
Yep.
and in which that kind of
You just slow
brings me
everything
to
down.
like I mean like right now, like we're throwing. I got a 3/8 little chatterbait or jackhammer, and
Mm-hmm.
with the and then an underspin, and
Yep.
which all we're doing is just dragging it on the bottom. Well, not dragging, slow reeling it on the
Right.
bottom.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but I mean, but right now, I mean, that's what the color that we're throwing is that fire crawl and the red or whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
Well,
Um,
I was gonna say, I mean, this isn't the right color. Well, I mean, it could be, but you can take this twin tail right here, right, from Bruiser Bait,
can you pull that
and
out?
yeah, and you can take this twin tail right here, and run you a smaller aught hook, right, and to where the lead is. Are you going? So how are you going to do this? Is you're going to take your smaller aught hook, you're going to run it down to the butt of it. That's what I call a butt right there, and or maybe I don't know 3/4 of the way down. However, anyway, you want the head of it to go just above that you're not
Mm-hmm.
right,
Yep.
and you can take that and throw it with weightless and just kind of skim it down from um the subsurface or
Right.
Yeah,
a
but
suspending
also,
fish
um,
and fish it and literally all you're doing is you're kind of fishing it like a I don't want to say a spinner bait, but I
Pretty
guess
short
kind of like
bait.
a spinner bait.
yeah,
Yeah, and all the action is right here in your tail.
but
Yeah.
also, um, and which,
Bruiserbait.com. Go check them out.
yeah, but uh, no, but with that, that's called the evil twin,
Mhm.
and but you can also take like a 2 watt hook with that and put a Texas rig on it because the wintertime you want to try and to shrink everything down, and that has
And slow it
been
down.
yeah, that has been a bait that we have been using as well. kind of sneaking it around and not
Right.
realize I was kind of I didn't really want him to tell that what we have been doing, but but
Hey,
so
we're informational, right? So I mean,
yeah,
it's this is all about helping and learning and everything, and that's the cool thing about those little twin tail grubs right there. I mean, you can throw them on a jig, you can
Yeah.
throw them
Well,
on a spinner bait,
uh,
you can
the other
throw them.
bruiser baits right there.
yeah,
There you go, right there.
yeah, that
And you could even take that. I mean, you can fish it with weight, Texas rig, Carolina rig, weightless. I mean, the
now
options are,
now
you know,
um so I know that gave, and I'm not trying. I don't want this to be a bruiser bait infomercial. But your chatter baits, what are the trailers that you're using on? There's that's the sidekick from Bruiser Baits. Now, what are there other chatter bait trailers that you use?
There's a variety of them, and that'll really be. It's kind of based on where I'm at, water clarity, depth, all that good stuff. I'm throwing a variety of stuff from on the smaller the micros and the minis. I'm throwing a double trouble from J Bros. I run those.
Yeah,
Um,
that has a good body to it too.
you
When
know, I run the jesters on them. We got
now
those.
are you taking the on the chatterbaits? Are you trimming the skirts or no?
Yeah, I always, no matter what,
Yeah, yeah,
even if it's a little bit, depending, I just want to give it just a little bit of a different look and
right,
action.
yeah,
I'll never throw them stock out of the package again, as far as not
yeah.
trimming them. Um, yeah, the spunk shad.
yeah, now
Um,
that's spunk shad, which I've got it on a spinner bait as well. That
There's my spinner bait.
Hog Farmer has done a killer job with that spunk shad. Now, are you throwing any kind of lipless crankbaits or any
oh
kind
yeah,
of crankbaits right now?
yeah, yeah. Throw, a lot of lipless, lot of lipless.
Yeah. Now, do you change out the stock hooks?
Yes, the
Mm,
only ones I don't change them out is on the Ozuri. That's the main ones I'm going to throw.
Yeah.
And
Now, what do you put on them?
usually like the gamakatsus,
Yeah.
mm,
So,
like
yeah.
super stickies or whatever you call them.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
that's what I used to do too. Whenever I had my well, depending on what depth crankbait I would
Yeah.
throw,
Now,
I always changed out my trebles on
And
my
VMCs,
yeah
I like VMC too.
yeah yeah
um, and which it's funny because I was about to get to this. Hunter B Outdoors
yeah.
does the Wild Hunters baits, and this is the Sakamata shad that they have.
Hmm.
I have I I got some from when Jerry and Hunter came up to Chickamauga. Um, this bait, I mean, this is for your forward facing sonar guys that are just out there twitching a minnow. This is what
Right.
it's designed for, right? But I have put this on a small A rig, and this thing does phenomenal um, on the small A rigs as well. But
Hey hey Colin, what size swim baits? Remember and I'm gonna get to this story real quick. Traveler, we Colin and I it was hot, man. So we ran up in this creek and we were fishing springs and creeks.
yeah,
And we
oh yeah,
what size jig head
2.7, 2.75. These right here by Bruiser Baits. This is what we were using.
Okay.
Oh, we were killing them.
with a one eighth ounce swim jig hook.
Yeah,
Okay.
and what we would do, we how we set up is we'd set up off the creek channel, right? So we was more or less on the bank on the upper side of the creek channel, and we throw up the creek, and we were just absolutely in the heat of the summer, which is crazy to say the least. But I mean, that's how we were kind of targeting them. We were fishing springs and creek, anything that had some kind of
Well, we
flow
wanted
to
that.
it,
Well, we also
and
wanted
cooler
that cooler
water,
water. Yeah, the cooler
cooler
water.
Right.
water. Yeah.
Now, do down in Florida, do they happen? I know there's a lot of springs and stuff down there, but is there springs and stuff that you could get to even from the bank to be able to kind of utilize that?
There's one spot that I don't know 100% sure about the property, but we think it's a spring. We think it's a natural spring because of how clear the water is,
Right.
Yeah.
and it's like that all year long, and it's rather warm all year long.
Now, to our viewers that may not know what you're talking about, clear water, and we're talking about spring and the transition there. So what are we saying?
As
Like
far as
visibility.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
So
that's going to
so what
different.
what what
That's
what basically what he's saying is on like if it's spring fed or if there's some kind of flow to it, some
yeah.
kind of current. If it You'll have a muddy, some type of a milky type, and then it'll be a little bit clear. Well, now, and that clear might be just a hint of clear, right?
Right.
It
Right.
don't
But
mean it's
like
going to be real clear, but it could be a hint of clear. It's going to be definitely it's noticeable. It's
yeah.
noticeable.
But
Go ahead,
down
Colin.
there where Traveler's at, he could probably get more visibility, as in I'll say 2 to 3 feet clear,
Yeah,
uh,
more,
yeah.
or
more,
even more. So
more.
to where like even for us on the Tennessee River, to where the Tennessee River always has a stain to it, and
Right.
so clear water to us may be a foot. If we could see
Yep.
a foot, that's
Hmm.
uh, that's how. I mean, it's not like clear water how it would be for Traveler.
Right. The
Right.
the
Right.
one spot it's I would say it's not 100% visibility, but it's you can see that bait once it hits the water and you let it sit as you're reeling in, you let it go and you could see it. It's
Yeah,
not gin clear, it's not like a glass of water clear, but it's
It's
man,
clear. It's clear.
pretty close. Yeah, as close as you're going to get to that.
man,
Hmm.
that's crazy. And I know Jerry Russo. He was telling me that they were. Um, I think it was up in New Hampshire or something like that, where they had some clear water that was like 60, 80 feet or something like that, that they were seeing their bait in 60 to 80 feet. And I was like, that is, to me, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what if you're trying to, if you're just trying to go and catch a fish, it don't matter the size, don't really matter what species of fish, what are you throwing to be able to just go catch a fish?
I mean, if we're talking freshwater like bass or something,
Right, right.
I mean, spinnerbait, Senko, or jackhammer,
Yeah.
What
Uh,
was that first one?
spinnerbait.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
He's got a love for them spinner baits,
I
Traveler.
do. I do. I
So,
Yeah,
do.
me
I
too.
do.
Me too. I mean,
uh,
Yeah.
I grew up throwing them.
Well,
now,
and Colin and I was talking. Well, matter of fact, just like last night I think it was on our trip. Whenever we was up in Indiana, Kentucky, there's a spot on Chickamauga I want to take him to, and it's known for you. th- There's several ways you can fish it. I mean, you can throw spinner bait, you can throw Carolina, you can throw a worm. I mean, you can throw a jig. I mean, there's some humps. It's deep. But the best I've ever done was throwing a quarter ounce. double willow leaf with a twin tail grub, white grub, chartreuse on that, and I absolutely wore my brother out. I mean, it was to the point to where he had to cut. Yep, he had to cut his line and add, you know, and even when he did that, he still wasn't catching. I mean, it 2, 3 to 1,
Right.
but it was the presentation is all it was. I mean, and how I was fishing, and I even told him how I was doing it. But
It's yeah, it's like I said,
I'm gonna take Colin. I'm gonna take Colin over there, and we're gonna do some spinner. I'm fixing to turn him into a spinner bait fisherman.
are
And
you guys big on the jackhammers?
I do like the jackhammers. I do like them.
You
Now
know,
I
Now,
don't
now
fish them
I'll
as
say this.
much.
well, the bait is in the little ones. That's where it's at. That's where you guys got to start working those.
Yeah,
Yeah. Now, do you throw them on? What is your rod setup? Are you throwing them
yeah.
on a spinning rod, or are you throwing them actually on a bait caster?
Bait
Well, let
caster.
okay. So
Even the
bait cast.
small ones, are you're able to throw on the.
Yeah, not like the micros because I got like some really small ones, but like the baby jacks and the micros, I can throw it. I'm throwing just a 7.3, a G Loomis, 873 bladed jig rod.
Yeah, yeah, that's because that's one of the things like that I had gone. Um, I had tried
Well, see, that's what.
throwing that lighter one on my spinning rod, my 7'3" medium heavy spinning rod,
Well, see,
and
that's
Okay.
I
what I
done
was
all
wondering.
right with it.
I was wondering what your setup was on the jackhammer, on the
Yeah,
1/4 ounce jackhammers. So you're throwing a 7.3 uh, cast or spin.
it's casting. It's a G Loomis, eight bladed jig rod,
Yeah,
So
medium
what
heavy,
is medium heavy? So the length of the rod is what now?
7'3".
7.3,
Oh, I thought that was your gear ratio on your reel.
seven gear ratio.
Yeah,
7 gear. So what is your weight line? What kind of line are you throwing?
That'll switch, but like down here, I switched over to something new. I'm doing 15-pound Cigar Tatsu, and I got to say
Yeah.
I'm super impressed with that. Like I said, I've run Sunline for many years, but I'll switch the line based on where we're going and where we're at.
right.
Illinois, I'm doing 8 pounds. Because it's
Yeah.
Yeah,
smaller fish, different structure, lighter stuff.
yeah. Jerry
Well,
said
that,
it
that
here
that
in
that seems
Florida.
that seems to be a good setup.
Now,
Yeah,
now where you're at, Traveler, are you seeing bedding fish now?
yeah, we're starting to. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because Jerry, he said here in Florida we have a lot of fish on bed.
I just
Yeah.
think what kind of slowed it down was that cold that we had. It kind of, I think, had set that up, and they were kind of pushing. That was going to start to come up a little bit later, but it's
Yeah.
starting.
Right.
Well, Sam, we got the fishing or what is it? The
Fishing musician,
fishing magician. Yep. So
fishing musician. Yeah,
yeah.
Well, that's
So
good that they're starting to get on move up,
yeah.
well,
because that means that it's
we're
not
getting
going to be
closer.
long for us. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
where I was
but
going with it.
I'm hoping I'm going to try to get out tomorrow if I can get out. I've got the itch. I'm ready to go.
Oh, I'm.
I gotta go yank on one. But
We were just talking about that too, by the way.
yeah.
We was like, dude, we got to go. We got to go. We got to go.
But what if if you're talking to somebody that is new to fishing, what is the main thing that you would tell them to focus on? Because I mean, fishing, you can go out. I mean, you got look behind you. You got all them baits there. You got baits right here behind me that we got
Yeah, yeah.
walls. What what would be the technique that you would tell somebody that's just wanting to be able to go and catch a bass?
Patience.
Yeah, yeah,
No, really. I mean, because again, think of I can still remember getting into fishing at certain times, and back then and just being so frustrated with stuff we don't know. It's so intimidating. It's just, again, I say it's kind of bittersweet, having what we have, in front of us. We can look up the knowledge. We can type in
Yeah,
a video. Hey, how do you fish a jackhammer? Just absorb it all. But
yeah,
start simple. Simple spinnerbait. It's pretty simple. It's a chuck and wind. You know what I mean? And then again, it's really up to you as far as where you want to take it. You don't have to make it complicated. You can just go out and fish. But
yeah,
now, if you want to start putting things together, pay attention to the wind, the sun, the temperatures, all that stuff. Start to get into that, but just have patience. Keep it simple, and just don't give up. That's a big thing. I think that's for me. I think that's the reason I enjoy it so much is I have that love, passion, and desire, as many of us do.
right.
But just because there's days out there that is tough, but I don't care. I'm out there. I'm enjoying it. But if you're
Yeah,
just starting out, you don't have to spend a ton of money. You don't have to get caught up in the hype. Just get something that's worth it. That's going to be easy for you to set up and keep dialed in, and just every day go out there when you can and just practice. Just have fun with it.
yeah.
And
Well,
that's
and
what
the thing,
that's what I would say to the viewers as well. And keep it simple. It's Texas
well,
rig, spinner bait,
right. Don't and
anything like that. Don't overthink it, because I'm gonna tell you, when I really, really started getting into it, that's when I started paying attention to the other stuff. Then I started getting in really detailed on my rigging and stuff like that.
I
And
mean,
you know,
simple. Get yourself a Senko.
exactly,
yeah. Well, and
exactly,
the thing
exactly.
is that Cinco will catch fish anywhere in the country. I don't
Yep.
care where
Yes,
you're at, you're going
yes,
to catch fish,
yes,
Except
and
Alaska
except Alaska.
and Canada.
But
yeah.
Well, no, Canada, no, Canada, yes. I take that back. Canada, yes, but not
And the
Alaska.
good thing about a Cinco, 5, 6, 7, 8 inch worm, Texas rig, you can flip it, you can throw it, you can skip it, you can. I mean, there's endless things you can do with it,
Yeah,
and
You know,
still produce fish,
I
whether
would,
it's a small one or a large one or whatever.
you
You can
know,
still
I,
make fish.
right. I would say more importantly, looking at it. I mean, not now, but in retrospect, say, because we talk about that spinnerbait or whatever lure. But I think what you need to concentrate on is the gear. What are you going to be
yeah,
doing, right? Because it matters. That gear ratio matters. That line matters. That action, heavy, medium, heavy, all that matters. Don't. And again, I've talked about this a lot. Don't focus on the color of that combo versus what it can do for you and what you're hoping to get out of it.
Come
yeah,
on,
Do your homework there, because
yeah.
once if you can get something that's all together that way, everything else will come a lot easier
yeah.
than
Well,
Well,
you doing it the other way.
I watched a video of matter of fact, just yesterday, Mike Iaconelli. He's one of my favorite fishermen, and he did a video of this right here, the your combos and your gear ratios and stuff like that. He said, look, keep it simple. Go the middle
yeah,
of the road, 7.3, 7.2, gear ratio. That if you want to slow it down, you can slow it down. If you want to speed it up,
yeah,
you can speed it up. Or if you want to keep it moderate, you can keep it moderate. It's
Honestly,
a
I think six
perfect
four out of all the ones I've ever used, I say 6'4".
yeah.
6.4 is a good ratio. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I
My, but
if
yeah,
I'm throwing deep cranks, I will go to a 6. But everything else that I have is going to mainly be like a 7 3 to 1,
yeah,
and
yeah.
but that's for me.
Well, it's so
But
it's so
everybody else,
versatile.
right? But everybody, I mean, that's just like saying what's the perfect rod for everything. Well,
Yeah,
some's going to say a 7 foot rod. Some's going to say
Mhm.
7 foot 3.
right.
Some 7.5. Or and it really all depends on the person and the feel that that person has. And
Confident,
correct.
confident.
But we do have Trident and Explorer says, and this is, and I missed it earlier when we were talking about this traveler. he said, "Why would you change out the hooks?" When we were talking about changing out the hooks on your crankbaits.
So, real huge shout out, Trident Explorers. How we doing? That's actually the first person that I was put in touch with that I got to go to ICAST for when they set up. They were brand new to the scene with that
Right.
boat. So, what's going on, my friend? Welcome in. Um, so a big thing for me, if anybody that throws cranks or anything with those on there, a lot of those stock hooks, they don't have a very good flex or the flex point. You know what I mean? Where it's
Come
just
on.
they bend out a lot easier.
Mhm.
Well, they get
They're
dull
not as
quicker.
sticky. They're not
Right.
as sticky.
Right,
They don't.
and they dull out very quick.
Yes.
They bend out very easy, and I'll go a step further, not just switching out the hooks. I'll do the split rings as well, because they have upgrade. You can upgrade that as well, because I've had those
Yeah.
break off before. I've had them just the other day. I don't want to say the brand, but I bought something different,
Hmm.
and I was on live. It was like 2 weeks ago, brand new, out of the box, tied it up, third fish in. That the whole hook it slid out from that O ring in the back.
Mm.
So it's
Yeah.
super important.
Well, it kind of goes in saying with anything you buy in stock, right? So whether it be a car, whatever, you're getting the very minimum is what you're getting.
Well,
And
they're
Not
trying to.
and not to degrade them by no
no,
means,
no,
No. Well, but they
but
got to. They
it
got.
is what it is,
Well, they have to
you
make
know.
money, and if
Yeah,
right.
they go and
exactly. So
if they put hooks on there that cost, let's just say it costs them
the
50 cents a
Gamakatsus,
hook, then
Troll car.
that's another dollar that they're having to put on that price point
exactly.
on that.
But I'd rather spend that extra dollar knowing having that peace of mind knowing that if
Yeah.
I do lean into that fish, it's going to stick or it's not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Right.
Yeah.
you got to do that diligent anyway. And that's something you need to get into. If you're brand new and that's something that's happening to you, either do some homework on brand because some brand does offer better. The price point's a little higher, but it's worth it. Or get yourself that split ring tool, get some extra hooks, and change that stuff out every month. Or
Yeah.
wintertime, if you're not fishing, go into your box. Now's that time to swap out all that hardware, and you'll go into
Yeah.
the new year, more
And
confident.
and that and
Right.
that goes back to what we were saying earlier. I mean, you want to keep it simple, but once you get into the fishing at the outdoors, fishing, hunting, you begin to gain more knowledge and how you want to do things, and you start listening at the dock, and you start listening, on podcast and YouTube. I mean, the social media is just unreal, and
Yeah.
then you start gaining knowledge. You're like, okay, I can take this crankbait and that might dive 10 to 15 foot deep and change out the O ring or the rings and the hooks to a better hook, and it's
Yeah.
not going to change the presentation none.
Yeah.
We're still going to get the same, but you're going to be a little more confident, like you were saying. You're going to be a little more confident in hooking that fish, or
Mhm.
with a Gamakatsu versus whatever else. And I'm not trying to throw Gamakatsu out there, but it is,
Well, and the
but it
thing
is
is,
what it is.
yeah, I mean because like I used to be heavy on Gamakatsu, um, and then we got with Spear Point,
Spear
and
point. Yep.
Spear Point is, I mean, if how can I say this? If you're going to throw fluorocarbon, Spear Point is a phenomenal hook.
Mm-hmm.
And but if you're going to be down in Florida and you're going to throw Spear Point, you're going to have braid on. You better have a heavy duty hook on there because I've heard that the Spear Point hooks are breaking on hook sets when with the braid. That's not the heavy
Okay.
hooks. So, um, but I mean, I've had the
Well,
Gamakatsu.
that just goes with no flex.
Yeah,
So
I mean
I
I mean
mean,
they are stiff. I I mean I've had a 6 pounder that I've got a video of that I've reeled into the boat, and
well,
then
I tell you what, go better than that. Tell us about your PB. What you caught it on, the whole everything.
so I caught my PB was 1134 on Chickamauga,
And you boat
and
flip.
I boat flipped with the Joe Burns rod, K9 fishing line, 17-pound fluorocarbon
What hook?
boat. It was a uh, oh shoot, it was a shaky head. I want to
Stiff
say
one.
it was a I think it was a dirty jig shaky head. I think that's who it was. I can't remember. I have to look it up. I have to go into the boat. But I mean, with a bruiser bait big stick, which is the Cinco, like what Traveler is
Mhm.
saying. I mean, go out there, um, and I mean, I can't say nothing bad about it. I mean, I was able to boat flip an 11 pounder with a 7'3" medium heavy rod that Joe Burns, when I sent him the picture and told him that I boat flipped it, he told me congrats on the fish, but then he says not congrats on my rod. So, but I mean, it
But it goes beyond the rod, though. I mean, it's the line, it's the
well,
hook,
everything,
it's the
right?
whole presentation. I mean,
Yeah. Jerry says that BKK makes a solid hook, and which Jerry and I were talking about it the other day about hooks, and I've got to get me some of them BKKs and just try them out and see.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but to go back on like the treble hooks. I've lost so many fish because the I've changed out to. I mean, I'll just flat out to say I used to put Gamakatsu treble hooks on it. Um, and then now I put the VMCs on it, and I've had better success with the VMCs. But the Gamakatsu, they were straightening out on treble hooks. I haven't had any kind of like on the EWGs. I've
Hmm.
never had any issues with them. I really like their EWGs. Um, but on a treble, I think they just made them too thin.
Yep.
And with that, because I think like when with an EWG and your Texas rigging and stuff, and your hook setting coming up over the shoulder, you're putting a lot of weight. So they've made them beefier. And then like with a crankbait, jerk bait, or anything like that, you're really wanting to kind of swoop it to the side to
Yep.
where you're not yanking the hooks right out their mouth. Um, but when you have them loaded up was when I was having issues with them straightening them out when it was actually the rod was loaded. And at first I thought it was because they were coming up, jumping and spitting it. But then I started seeing that the hook started straightening out.
Yep.
And which, if you're not
Well, the
doing,
thing and the thing is they used to not be like that.
no,
You know,
Yeah.
well, but
way back in the day,
Those
they were
BMCs,
like,
yeah, they're
yeah,
they were like one of the top tier
yeah.
of treble hook, well, any hook really, to be
yeah,
matter of fact about it. But yeah, you're right. It's and that goes back to where these companies are trying to get the most out of their product, but yet
Well,
it's
they're
a
making their price point down as much as
yeah,
possible, and
right, right.
and I believe, I mean, like the past. year and a half, 2 years. All we heard was the tariffs and stuff like that. And which, if it's American made company that's building everything here, they don't have to worry about it. But
Right.
there's a lot of these fishing companies that's getting a lot of product from overseas, and now with them trying to keep that same price point, they're making cheaper quality stuff.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Sam said us old guys grew up on Eagle Claw.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah, that's right. That's
I,
That's
right.
I'm
it.
not. I'm not going to say nothing about Eagle Claw, but we'll go on with that.
Yeah,
So before we kind of touched on it earlier. So what's going on in Florida right now with the I'm just going to come on out and say it with the HOA and the
Yep,
fisheries and
yep.
stuff like that.
well, it's just
Um,
not a HOA; it's HOAs in general.
in general,
Well,
it's just
yeah, yeah, in general.
some of it's HOA related, some of it's park related, some of it's people, these corporations or entities coming in, scooping up properties, and suddenly putting up no fishing signs, and everything. I try to do my diligence and homework, and to look into that. And typically, I mean, a no fishing sign, I guess, does hold water, right? Even if it doesn't say an ordinance number on it, right?
Mm.
But it just, and I've talked about it a lot, and I think I don't know why, because like I said, there's a Facebook group. I can I say that here, right?
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
that started about the one particular place that we fish at, and
Yeah,
they had said that there was a variety of different reasons why they think that this either third party, whoever private entity bought the park or partnered up with the HOA, said no more fishing. Part of it was, it could be that they didn't like the cast netters, they didn't like all the junk, they didn't like all this stuff. But what's happening is we're getting pushed out. They're closing off a lot more of the fisheries, and I think, I talked about it before. I wish we could organize somehow and get some groups going, because we need to protect it not only for ourselves,
yeah,
but but the next generation. Because what's going to happen eventually is all these properties are going to get bought up, and all these signs are going to go up. And if there's no sanctions, there's nothing in place. Where does that leave us?
yeah. Well, let's do this. We got somebody on here, Jerry. Um, who can he contact, Jerry? That can help him find out if that is actually, because it's a public park. The
Well,
taxpayers.
this is where it's a little unclear. It was at one time, I guess, a public park, but it's still considered a public park. But it was bought out by some other company now. Because I contacted Parks and Rec, and they gave me a phone number. I called that number. They gave me another number. You know what I mean? By the time I actually spoke to somebody, I don't know how deep I was into it,
Right.
but they had claimed that it's a public slash private park, and that's where I think you got to be more clear on that. Because is it public to where it's open to the public, right? But who's paying to maintain it? Is it still coming
Right.
from publicly funded dollars, or is it a private entity that is paying the groundskeepers for the bathrooms, the guys that are driving around in the golf carts? Because there's baseball games that are played there. There's disc golf course that's there. There's public park. There's all these different things. And the pier, there was even a pier that was built there. Again, that if you look up the information on that, that was from public funds, taxpayer
Right.
dollars. So at what point, again, I'd like to look into it, not only for myself, but again, just other anglers. But I think it'd be nice if we could start some type of a movement. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
again,
Okay. So listen to this. So and I don't know how true this is. You know how the internet is and everything else. So I just seen today that the state of Oregon is trying to ban all of fishing, hunting, everything. And the thing about it is there's another state that's kind of keeping an eye on it to see if it passes. So if it does pass, and I'm not going to call out the specific whatever. Anyhow, Oregon is leading this whole thing. So I kind of wonder if it don't go back. If I'm not saying that Oregon has anything to do with Florida, but if that don't have something to do with it, because like I said, I just seen it today. I don't know how true it is. I
Right, and
don't
we don't
know
know.
any of that, but
We,
from what I understand, that if that it's going through the state of Oregon right now, and if it passes, that they will be banning all hunting, fishing, anything that has to trapping, anything that
right.
has to do with outdoors.
I mean,
You know, and that goes
But
against everything that we have ever done
that'll be
in
a
America.
very dangerous precedent if they do
Exactly,
that. That's just going to start the wave.
yeah,
exactly.
but the thing on it is the kind of goes with that, but not really. Um, is there's a group from overseas that is trying to get past here in the United States. Um, the Let's Talk Fishing podcast with Danny Pruitt. He When he came on, he was telling us about it. That
Hmm.
they are trying to ban live bait fishing for anybody to use live baits.
Why?
Because they're saying that that's cruel for the fish.
But guess what they
And
eat?
but that, I mean, I'm just telling you,
What is it?
Well, I
Right.
know, but
What does that look
it's
like?
like what sense does that make? Because guess what they eat? They eat
yeah.
live bait.
Well, I
But
mean,
You
but
know,
you're right. I mean, but the thing is when you have somebody, my thing is why is somebody from overseas worried about what we're doing over here, for one, right?
exactly, exactly.
But
Yes.
they're trying to pass it through, like the law that they're trying to get passed does it's going to affect like all your bait shops that sell live bait. Like people, like for the most part, out in Arkansas, Mississippi, there's like two big companies that will ship minnow, shad, everything to all these bait companies around the United States. They're trying to get it to where you cannot transport live fish across state lines, which entails will go to where how, let's just say for instance here on the Tennessee River, they'll bring them Florida strand bass up to Tennessee and drop in a couple thousand Florida strand bass. Well, that's going to let's see, and that's awesome that I think that's Danny.
I
yeah, jumped in. Yep.
here
Yeah.
and Sam, you're right. You're exactly right. It does go against um everything that we stand for. I
Yep.
Yeah.
mean, it it's not
They
right how
Yeah.
they can dictate what we can and can't do
Yeah.
they take that
in
away.
the
It's
outdoors world.
Yeah.
they take that away. It's a whole different ballgame.
Well, see, here's
Yeah,
here's
yeah.
Danny with the Livewell podcast. It's under explanation the introduction of invasive species and different waters, but they just do not want animals being used. Uh, was swinging by. Hey everyone, what's up, brother? Thank you for coming in, and thank you. You could not have came on at a better time, brother.
Yeah,
And
for real.
so uh,
Well, that's what
and
Samuel Wright was saying. He said it wouldn't become a violation to the Department of Interior Regulations. Yes, you're right. It would become a violation, and it also becomes a violation to the Constitution of the United States of America. Is what it
Yeah.
becomes to. I
yeah,
mean, because you know there's there's rules and regulations and laws that what we can hunt and what we can fish and what we can trap in each season of that law, right?
yeah,
So how one state can go and put themselves think that they can put themselves above that
That's why
is asinine, man. I mean,
Yeah,
it's crazy.
it.
It's
yeah.
crazy.
I wouldn't be surprised by it, but I couldn't see it. I mean, I don't know. I think it'd be very difficult for them to do that because I think then
Well, and
there's higher
again,
entities going to
well,
come
and
into
again,
that.
I'm not. It's internet, right? So I don't know if it's. I'm gonna do a little more research on it, and but just
Oh yeah,
like
that's
going back to uh, I'm sorry for losing his name,
Danny.
Danny. You know what he had said in the past. It kind of coincides with it, right?
Yeah,
So you know, I hope it's not true for the state of Oregon because I've got some friends up there that live up there that are veterans and that love to hunt and
I
fish
just can't see
and
it.
you
Well,
know enjoy outdoors.
but
I
like,
hope it's not true. I
You're
but
hope
going to
it's
like,
go
not true.
through. You're going to push back on the Constitution. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. You know, I mean, come on now.
what about
Mm.
I mean, I know like when you was in Alaska, how many people in Alaska, their main food source is them going out there catching fish.
Oh, we're
Yes.
going to this hole. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Exactly.
so now what are you doing? I mean,
To the
so now
fishery.
yeah, so now you're gonna tell people, hey, I'd rather you starve than go out there and catch some fish.
Uh oh. There he is.
There he is.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. So what does that do to the state of Oregon and the fishery and
Because
how you know how they regulate everything? I mean, because I'm sure there's a lot of game that come out of the state of Oregon.
Right.
You know, I mean, I don't know for sure, but
I mean,
I'm pretty sure there's
there,
a lot of game that comes out of there.
I can't imagine this is going to go through because I mean, people rely on
But if
the
people don't know, if and that's how they're getting it slid through is because they're sliding it up underneath something else to
Exactly.
where, and then, but that's where it comes down to people like
well,
us to be
it
able to talk about it and be able to get it out. I
it
mean,
shouldn't something like that shouldn't even be entertained.
mm-hmm,
Thank you, thank you.
mm-hmm,
Yes, yes.
no. But you know, we like TWRA. Like there's at every single boat ramp, there's a sign that says "Do not introduce Alabama bass into the Tennessee River," which it has a purpose. There is a purpose for that because the Alabama bass will take over. Like let's just say, for instance, Chickamauga, and then we'll go to Nickajack with this as well. Chickamauga with the bass, it will destroy a bass population.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
it will deplenish it, and it'll do the same thing for smallmouths, like spotted bass and stuff like that. I mean, it has gotten to where I was talking to a TWRA agent, and I was asking him like, on is there a true do we still have true smallmouths in like in on Nickajack? And he said very rarely that they will see that we have a true smallmouth. Most of them in some way or fashion is has a spotted bass bred into them.
Well, I'm gonna address some of these comments right here.
Yeah.
Stephen, Burnett, yes, you're exactly right. It is the pursuit to, you know, life, liberty, and happiness. And Sam, you're right. Most again, you know, most laws that are similar and attached to bigger bills, they are noticed before ratification.
Yeah.
You're exactly right.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, and then like
but I don't think here. Um, we're not being a butthole to introduce, you know, Alabama bass,
well,
but
I'll say
hey,
Brian. That's it's
it is what it is.
well, and
But
that's Brian Baca. He's
I know, I
he's
know, I
and which he's going to be on
But
the podcast next week, so we can get him wrapped up on that next week too. So,
we'll
but
go ahead and get him started in real quick.
yeah, we'll get him cranked up, ready to rock and roll. But
Alabama Bass
uh,
Council.
no, it's no.
yeah,
Yeah, I know.
No, we're not. Oh, slick.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see, and then
But
Jerry.
it.
Here's what.
Well, hey,
Uh,
listen, gentlemen, real quick. I don't mean to cut it short, but I'm gonna have to cut it short here shortly. Go pick up the wifey.
yep,
So
Yeah,
yep,
no,
not
you're
right this
good. You're
second, but
good.
soon.
yeah. So, well, you just if we get.
Well, hey, we went down that rabbit hole and we opened up something, and then now
No,
everybody's like,
and it's great, and I would love to come back on it or be part of it and talk about it more because I think it's really important. And I think
yeah.
you
it
know
is important. It
Well,
the
is.
and
awareness,
It truly is.
and if we can somehow, it starts with one, right?
Yeah,
To have that, to have a group, to have something organized. Because again, if we don't stand up to it, if we don't have something set in place, eventually there's going to be no more fishing for anybody.
yeah.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
and the thing.
Anything as far as that goes. I
Well,
mean, according to what I've seen, you know,
well, my thing on it
now whether it's true or not, I don't know.
um, is I think that whoever's voting for this, and I'm not trying to pinpoint any
Yeah,
kind of party or anything like that, right? But
right,
they need
right,
to be
right.
held accountable. They need to really, and if there's something, it needs to be that if it's fine print saying, "Hey, this is also what it's covering up underneath," to where they're trying to slide this up underneath. But I think again, and
Well,
I think
I tell you what, let's go, let's just do this. If anybody's out there from the state of Oregon that knows that this is going on, get in touch with us because
yeah,
we would really like to know and kind of confirm things and whether it's true or not. Because again, I don't know if it's true. I just seen it today. I read on it. I didn't do any kind of research on it, so I'm putting it out there. But if it's
Yeah,
not true, I want to know that it's not true. If it is
well,
true, I want to know if it is true.
well,
Either
and
way,
but I do know. I mean, like what Danny had said, like because he's been looking into it, and I need to get with him to have him. He's going to
yeah,
send me the oh shoot, what is it? How they're trying to pass it,
right,
the
yeah,
identification.
that is a
yeah.
good that is a good suggestion. Though seriously, Ted Nugent, if you guys could reach, I mean, I've met him before, and if you could send him an email, he would know, and he'd be another guy to get in our corner.
Yeah. So
Yeah, yeah.
But real quick, gentlemen, I don't mean to cut you off.
yeah,
I gotta
No,
start making my
you're
way
good.
out.
You're good.
yeah.
Hey,
Well,
thank you,
thank you,
traveler,
brother.
and hey, yeah, we appreciate everything you do out there, brother. And hey, keep throwing, keep throwing.
Yeah,
I will. And like I said, anytime, gentlemen, I would love to come back and talk about anything.
Absolutely,
well,
So
we may have you
absolutely.
come back on here pretty soon, so we can kind of
Yeah,
crank this
yeah,
back up, and
okay,
if
yeah.
if we want to, and all that. So, but
Well, it's an issue. It's an issue that needs to be addressed.
yeah,
absolutely.
well, and it's like especially down in Florida and stuff, the how they spray for the grass and they kill all the
Mm.
grass.
Yep.
Okeechobee is not the same Okeechobee that it was here
Yale, all of them,
5 years
everything around
ago.
here.
Right, right. So, and I think it's a good thing. I mean, they spray everywhere, not just down in Florida. It's every
It's
right,
it's
but
all it is.
I think the more awareness that you make people know about it, and if there's stuff that, if y'all
Hmm.
know that there's a meeting going on to where people can actually go to and kind of voice their opinion, just let
Right.
us know in the comments, and we'll make sure we get it
Hey,
posted and
And
stuff like
people
that.
need to
yeah,
be more aware of that because it affects even people that don't fish. They don't think about it. It's stuff that
Yeah,
it's you walking your dogs through it. It gets into the water. It affects so much
so
more
much.
than just the fisheries. There's a
everything,
lot of bad to it.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything, everything.
So, but
All right, traveler. We
we're
All
appreciate
right,
you,
gonna get
brother.
gentlemen.
off
We
here
really do.
and hope that
Keep throwing, keep hooking, and I can't wait till your next live. I can't wait.
Let me leave you with this, like I always do, if you wouldn't mind,
Yeah,
guys.
no, go ahead.
if you woke up today, remember that was a gift, not a promise, right? Don't put off tomorrow what you can handle today. Be better than you were the day before because yesterday's gone. Tomorrow's never promised. Focus on the now. Be the best version you could be of yourself so you can be the best version you could be for someone else. With that, stay safe, tight lines, and you know the deal. A bad day of fishing beats a good day at work.
That's it.
Absolutely.
So, Traveler, thank you, brother.
Yeah.
And
All right.
we're going to, in the description, guys, there's links to Traveler's social media.
Yeah, y'all go hook
click
him
them
up.
links, hit that follow button. Go check out his lives again. I mean, he tries to
He's
go
live about every day. Just about every day.
And if
Yeah.
he's not where he's at right now, he's out on the water fishing, and it is some great content. And so make
he's either
sure
doing the tackle, the traveling tackle. I'm
Virtual
sorry.
tackle box or traveler's tackle box?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and or he's out there fishing, throwing.
Yes, sir.
So
thank you.
But next week we have Brian Bacca with Southeast Tackle. He is a local guy, and we may have a special guest on top of that with him that may have just won the college Bassmaster event this past weekend. So
and also be looking for our other episode that we post every Friday. So we're trying to drum
guys,
that up.
We're gonna get out of here. Traveler's got to go pick up his wife, and Traveler brother, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Yep.
We will talk to you here later on, guys.
Y'all have a great night.
See y'all. See you, bud.